Get ready to rumble!
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk Philadelphia on LaSalle TV. I'm your host, Andrew Elbert. We have a great show planned for you today, full of all your Philadelphia sports news and previews. But first, let me introduce my panel today. We have Tyler Harper, Mark Wilson, and Erskine Hines joining me. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. We're going to start off with the hottest topic in the city, the Philadelphia Eagles. A little bit of Eagles talk to start. Didn't go so well last week in Denver. As we can see from the stats, Denver 52, the Philadelphia Eagles 20. Peyton Manning, 28 for 34 with 327 yards and 4 touchdowns. Guys, what'd you see from this game? I mean, it was the most points in Broncos franchise history, which is pretty insane.
We saw nothing that we didn't expect to see. I mean, all of us on the panel last week had the Broncos winning, and winning by a favorable margin. So towards the beginning of the game, it was kind of close, but after halftime, when the Broncos were able to just march down the field, it was pretty much set in stone. And then, of course, finally, for the first time this year, Brock Osweiler finally getting some playing time after Peyton Manning and his arsenal of many, many, many weapons were able to just build up that big lead, and Brock Osweiler was able to come in and just do some mop work.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you saw it, but I kind of felt it when I was watching the game that there was just nothing they could do to stop them. I mean, 8 or 9 yards on first down every time. It was a blessing if they didn't get a first down on first down. What did you see from the defense that was startling?
Just how Manning the Broncos walked all over him. I mean, there is sometimes it seemed like there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Other times it's just like there's just no hope. And I mean that's that's disheartening to me is that they can go from there's this chance to there's nothing.
Erskine, you've been laughing the whole time.
Yeah. Well, this is what I learned about the Philadelphia Eagles. Billy Davis loves to play he loves to play two-man under on second down. And he keeps putting Fletcher and Williams in bad situations by making them play 10 yards off of the wide receivers. You got to jam wide receivers like Decker and Thomas on the outside. And that's one thing that Fletcher did well at Iowa. And he's really good in bump and run situations. And then another thing too, if you're going to play cover 3, you can't tip the play off. And Nate Allen can't move to the center of the field. And I just think that Billy Davis just continues to put his secondary in horrible situations. And that's one reason why Peyton Manning exploited them, and especially on third down. And Wes Welker just had 7 catches for 79 yards too, and he just killed them in the slot. You can't do that. You really can't do that.
You mentioned Peyton Manning, how he just picked. Take a look at his stats for the year because he's really been unstoppable. He's the Sports Talk Philadelphia player of the game from the Eagles-Broncos game. This year he has 1,470 yards, 16 touchdowns, no picks, and a 138 passer rating, which are numbers that scream MVP even in Week 4. Tyler, what did you see from Peyton Manning? I mean, nothing was out of the ordinary, like you said, but what did he do well against the Eagles?
He does what Peyton Manning does. He goes down. He makes all those checkdowns. He makes sure everybody on that line of scrimmage knows that play. The commentators, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, were talking about it during the game, how he will go up to receivers and be like, what are you doing in this situation? What is your route? Are you sure? Are you sure? Making sure that they know what they're supposed to be doing. So that way all he has to do is just snap the ball, find the open receiver, and be the machine that he is. And with numbers like that, many, many people call Peyton Manning one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time. With stats like that, it's hard to disagree.
Yeah, Manning's his numbers so far this season are, I believe, they're the best the NFL has seen ever. Like it's a record-setting season so far with no interceptions and that many touchdowns. And just like Tyler brought up, he's the general on the field. He knows what everyone's doing. Practice, he'll yell at the linemen for not blocking it properly. He knows the game inside and out. He knows what the defense is doing. He can see it from a mile away. He's just one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
I understand what you guys are all saying, and I respect all of your opinions. But if you continue to just play man coverage on third down, of course Peyton Manning's going to see it. I thought the Philadelphia Eagles should have came with a better game plan, and they really didn't do that. And because of that, Peyton Manning just had a field day. So it's not really what Peyton Manning did to the Philadelphia Eagles, but it's what the Philadelphia Eagles could not do, in my personal opinion. I think that you have to just have some different schemes out there, and that's one thing the Philadelphia Eagles did not do.
And the Eagles hurting themselves has kind of been a theme thus far without the year. One part that's not really talked about is the kicking game. Alex Henry, 7 for 10 this year. He's missed 3 field goals in 3 really clutch situations. We can take a look at the graphics. He's missed from 40 to 49 yards in 3 straight games. As an NFL kicker, kid out of Nebraska, do they keep Alex Henry, or Chip Kelly says his job is safe? But what do you guys think?
I think you got to ride him out at least for a couple more weeks. We were a little hesitant. He looked good at first when he was drafted and became the heir apparent to David Akers. But now Philadelphia fans are starting to get a little nervous. Like you said, Chip Kelly is trying to restore our faith in him. He needs to get a little more consistent, but I think if he keeps up these struggles, we might see him out by the bye week.
Yeah, Eagles got to start looking for other options at this point. I mean, I can understand missing a 48, 49-yard field goal. That's going to be hit or miss for most kickers in the league. But low 40s, that's something you got to hit in the NFL.
I think they need to ride it out with Henry a little bit longer. He's 7 for 10, his ups and downs, but just give him a little bit more time.
And him, like the Eagles, might find some more success this week as they take on a quote-unquote easier opponent in the New York Giants, NFC East opponent. Let's take a look at our preview. The Eagles are averaging 458 yards per game. The Giants just 325, as you can see the stats there. Statistically, it looks like the Eagles hold a slight advantage. The Giants 0-4, the Eagles 1-3, not much better. But NFC East games are tricky. What is your guys' insight onto what's going to happen this week?
Well, the only saving grace for the Eagles right now is the NFC East is not that great, and that's putting it mildly. The fact that the Cowboys barely have that slight edge. The Eagles are 1-3, and there was an article put out on CSN Philly this week that they could still be sniffing first place, and they're 2 games under 500. That's not that great. So whoever wins this NFC East division may have the best of luck in the playoffs, because this division does not look that great overall this year.
Yeah, 7-9 could win the NFC East this year, but at the same time, is this a must-win game for the Eagles?
Definitely, yeah. I would say that this is a must-win game for the Eagles, not only because it's a big game against the New York Giants, but also it's kind of like a make or break for the season. They lose this game, their season's almost kind of like we're trying to shoot for 500 at this point. They win this game, things can be a little bit different.
I think it's a must-win for the Philadelphia Eagles as well, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. I think that they struggle with slot wide receivers, and now you're going to be seeing Victor Cruz. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. I mean, in week 2, Eddie Royal had 7 catches for 97 yards on 9 targets. And then in week 3, Donnie Avery had over 140 yards on 7 catches. And then Wes Welker last week had 7 catches for over 75 yards. So as you see a common trend, you can't stop slot receivers, and I don't think you're going to be able to stop Victor Cruz this week.
Erskine, what can they do to try to stop the slot receiver?
Okay, so one thing that you can do, I think that you're going to have to put Boynton, you're going to have to give him help over the top. So that's, if you're going to be playing, if you want to play man, if you try to do a little cover 1 man, so that's pretty much going to have your free safety. He's going to be dropped a little bit farther, and then you're going to have your strong safety. Hopefully Patrick Chung will be back this week, and then you can drop him into the middle of the field. Patrick Chung really loves to lay the hit, and he is an intimidator. He has been for the New England Patriots when he was with the New England Patriots. But if they're able to do that and they're able to put Boynton in a bump and run on Victor Cruz this week, then I think the Philadelphia Eagles will have more success. And they also have to implement the NASCAR defense on third down. That's putting your best 4 defensive ends on the field. And I think that they have the pass rusher to do it. And the New York Giants have given up 14 sacks this season.
Yeah, it seems like the theme to kind of rattle Eli is the way to get him off his game. He is still a good quarterback. Let's take a look at his stats for the year. He's had a down year thus far. 56.3% completion rating. He has just over 1,148 yards, 6 touchdowns, but 9 interceptions. Now, what's been the problem with Eli this year, and can the Eagles exploit it?
We've seen this from Eli before, or he'll have his struggles. Of course, the Giants have been kind of battered and beaten with injuries, but it's just a matter of, you said it earlier, the fact that he can get so rattled, the fact that you get a couple pass rushers in there at least to put on pressure, and he'll start to panic and he'll start to make those rush throws. So I think if the Eagles can do that, they definitely have a shot at winning this game.
Yeah, it's like they say, the saying goes, he hears the footsteps coming. He knows if a good pass rush coming against him, he's going to be a little more rushed. He's not going to be as calm in the pocket, and that's where he's going to make those mistakes.
Well, I mean, he's working with a patchwork offensive line, let's be honest. He's been sacked 14 times this season. Like the New York Giants, they're in shambles right now. And one thing the New York Giants are going to have to do is just try to get the ball out of his hands, try to do a lot of wide receiver screens, and try to do a lot of running back screens. But the Philadelphia Eagles have the personnel on defense in order to stop Eli Manning and to apply pressure on him. But I just don't know if Billy Davis is going to run the right scheme to do it. If you're going to continue to play cover 3 and cover 2, it's just you're not helping out your defense. You're not helping out your secondary as well.
So what are the keys to the defense this week to stop Eli and to get on the right track?
Again, it's just putting pressure on him. You saw how much impact Vinny Curry had in Week 3 against the Chiefs. While they didn't win that game, he was able to get in the backfield and get pressure on Alex Smith. Now, obviously, that took a step back last week against the Broncos, but if he can get back to that, get those pass rushers in the backfield and make Eli start to panic, now you have a shot where your defense could get turnovers and take the reins. D'Amico Ryan said that the defense needs to get more turnovers to put more pressure and make it easier for the offense. So I think if they can put pressure on Eli, get the turnovers, I think they have this game in good hands.
I think that they have to take D'Amico off. They have to take him off the field on third down situations. He's getting exploited, and especially Kendricks. He's getting exploited too, and he has been for this season. Especially in Week 2 against Antonio Gates, they ran a lot of hook routes and they ran a lot of option routes. And Michael Kendricks, he has the lateral speed to contend with a lot of these premier tight ends, but he just doesn't have the awareness right now. So I think you have to get both of those players off on third down if you want to have success with the Philadelphia Eagles this week.
And as always, we did our Sports Talk Philadelphia prediction poll. Let's take a look at what our panel here thinks. I think the Eagles are going to take this one, 38-24. I think the Eagles' offense is going to come back to life. Michael Vick is going to have a great game. I think he's going to rush the ball effectively because the Giants' rush defense isn't stellar. So I think the Eagles take this one. Tyler?
I have a closer game. I have 14-10 Eagles with LaShawn McCoy as my MVP. Yes, when this Eagles offense is clicking on all cylinders, they have the chance to run up the score like they did Week 1 against Washington. But knowing how the bad blood between these two teams, it's an old-school NFC East rivalry, these games are normally slugfest. So a low-scoring 14-10 score, I think, is perfectly reasonable, especially with both teams not getting off the starts they really want to right now.
I have the Eagles winning 24-21. Like Andrew noted, how the Giants' rush defense isn't that great. I think the Eagles are definitely going to try to exploit that. We've seen Vic struggle the past couple of games with passing, hovering around a 50% completion rate. I think once Kelly sees him struggling throwing the ball, they're going to turn to McCoy to win the game for them.
So it looks like you guys are all on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm the only one that's on the Giants. But the reason why I don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game is because the New York Giants do have 2 premier pass rushers. They have Justin Tuck and they have Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, look at week 3, what the Kansas City Chiefs had. You had Justin Houston and then you had Tamba Hali. They wreak havoc off the edge. The Philadelphia Eagles right now on the offensive line, they're making a lot of mistakes and a lot of mental errors. And I just don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be put in situations defensively in order to stop Eli Manning on third down.
All right, we'll see what happens on Sunday when the Eagles take on the Giants to try to turn their season around. We'll move on to a Philadelphia team that season is finally over by God's graces, according to some. The Philadelphia Phillies finished up their season. Let's take a look at their record. They finished 73-89. 610 runs runs for 749, 4.32 ERA. Fellas, take me through the Philly season and how thankful are you that it's over?
It's been over for a while. Let's be realistic here. But now that it is officially done, 162 games completed, it's time to look at now that Ryan Sandberg has full control of this coaching staff, what changes can be implemented here? Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? We saw Rich Doobie was relieved of his duties as pitching coach. There's been rumors that Larry Boa could join his staff in some way, shape, or form. So now that Ryan Sandberg is in complete control of this operation from spring training, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the offseason to get his guys rejuvenated and ready to go. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the roster. Now, they're mixing some of the older players with some of the new younger guys that are coming in from the system. And, with injuries have played a major part in that. So coming back next year, new manager, new look to the team, it's going to be good. But now the season's something that everyone wants to be over. It needs to be over just so they can restart this rebuilding process.
Thank God the season's over. That was awful. This was an awful season. But we also have to understand that injuries did play a huge role this season. And I'm looking forward to what the Philadelphia Phillies are going to do next season. But they just have to stay healthy. And I really wonder what's going to happen with Roy Halladay. I don't have the questions. I mean, I don't have the answers right now. I really don't. There's too many questions right now. But you just never know. You never know with the Phillies anymore.
And let's take a look at how the NL East shook out. The Phillies obviously coming in fourth, but the Atlanta Braves taking the playoff spot at 96 and 66, 10 games ahead of the Washington Nationals, who are at 86 and 76. And then the Mets, the Phillies, and Marlins were never really in the race. Now, guys, what do the Phillies have to do to get back into the contention with the Atlanta Braves and probably the Washington Nationals, who will be back next year?
They really need to focus on those younger guys in that farm system. They really need Cody Ashley and Darren Ruff to be the real deal, because you see the Braves with young stars like Freddie Freeman. You see the Nationals with young stars like Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper. Now I'm a little worried about the Mets, who of course have Harvey and Zach Wheeler, who are going to be deadly for them. You need to focus on that young talent, because that's where this division is going. So unless you focus on that young talent, you're probably going to be left in the dust in this division this year.
Yeah, the young talent's definitely where it's out nowadays in the MLB. You guys have like Trout, who's not even 21 yet, and he put up great numbers again this year. Like I've always said, they won in 08 with young talent from their system. That's when Utley was young, Howard was young. They're all young studs. Now, it's having those guys and have that emotional tie to them. They're breaking the drought of the World Series. You gotta let them go and just rebuild and get that youth back.
Take a page out of the Tampa Bay Rays, what they've been doing, just working on their farm system. That's all you can really do right now, and hopefully Howard will stay healthy this coming season. And you just have to make sure that your and they have to work on their bullpen, and hopefully that they can address that through free agency. And I really just do not know what to say about that, man. There's a lot of questions with the Phillies. But if Howard can stay healthy, and if they can just get a little bit more production out of Rollins too, I think that the Philadelphia Phillies will have a better season.
Now the NLDS starts obviously this weekend. The Phillies will be watching from home, and one guy that will probably be taking closer interest, Ruben Amaro Jr. We have a little graphic of him. Should he be fired? As there he is in sunglasses and flames. Guys, what's your thoughts on Ruben Amaro Jr., and should he continue with the Phillies if they do falter again next year?
I've been saying it on the show for the past couple weeks. Ruben Amaro keeps telling us we still have a chance to be a playoff team. We still have a chance to be a contender with this team. I don't see it with the age and injuries. I don't see how this team can leapfrog not only the Mets, but also the Nationals and the Braves with those teams all having young, great talent. I don't see it, and if I'm David Montgomery, I call Ruben Amaro Jr. into my office and say, first, I think he's delusional for thinking that they have a chance to be contenders, but if you guys are not in the playoffs or at least remotely close, you are definitely fired after game 162.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has this season to try and prove himself and get the Phillies back on a winning track with some good talent. I mean, this year he made little to no moves at the trade deadline, and everyone was up in arms about that. And he's just kind of been sitting still, and it's just no one wants to. He doesn't want to make that big move, and everyone wants that big move. And he's, like Tyler said, he's just content with let's just wait and trust the young guys right now. But no one's really happy with that. So I think it's going to be at least one more season.
He needs to be gone. He needs to be gone. Like, just talent-wise, the Philadelphia Phillies can't even contend in this division. Like, you have to hope and pray that the farm system is able to bring up some quality players. And then with the contracts, too. he's put the Philadelphia Phillies in a serious bind. Like there's a lot of money still on the books, and I don't know if the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be able to get out of those contracts. And so I think he's handicapped this franchise for the next 2 years, my personal opinion.
Now, he's been quoted as saying that he wants to bring Roy Halladay back next year. Is that going to be the defining moment of Ruben Amaro, what he does with Roy Halladay and how he does next year?
It could very well be because, I mean, again, yeah, he had a fantastic year in 2010, then started to phase out 2011 and then 2012. So, but knowing Ruben, how he loves to connect those ties, he may want to bring Ruben back for at least 1 year to try to reignite that spark. But like Mark said earlier, you've got to start to cut ties with nostalgia if you want to get this team better.
All right, transitioning from a team that season just ended to a team that a season is just beginning. And let's not freak out, Flyers fans.
Yeah.
It's game one. All right, I saw it on Twitter all last night that the season is over. It's a long season. Hockey is a long season, so let's calm down. Let's take a look at the stats from game one. 3-1 the Toronto Maple Leafs over the Philadelphia Flyers. Braden Shen with the only goal for the Flyers. Steve Mason in goal got the start, which we'll discuss. 25 shots against 3 goals allowed. Not great. Tyler, you were at the game. What did you take away from the Flyers' first performance?
Well, first, you're right. It is one game. Flyers fans, we need not freak out. They look in the first period and first half of the second period, they looked a lot more energetic than they did in preseason. I noted that I was at the Flyers-Devils home matchup for preseason, and they looked flat the entire game. In this game, they had a lot of energy. They had a lot of chances throughout, but rarely this was the case of the Flyers shooting themselves in the foot because while they had a lot of opportunities to shoot on that and on the power play, a lot of shots were either wide or deflected. So they've got to make sure, or they get more accurate shots. And towards the end of the game, it really looked like Claude Giroux was trying to do too much. So many times, the team and us as fans have relied on Claude Giroux to be this sort of savior, quote unquote, to help lead a comeback. But there were a lot of times in that third period where he was just trying to weave in and just throw something, but it just went right to a Leafs defender, and they were able to take the puck and just fire it on Steve Mason. So the captain needs to calm down a little bit and try to reassess his options. But again, it's one game. Honestly, they didn't look too bad. They did not look terrible.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. But I think the Flyers is going to take them at least a couple more games to kind of get themselves together. Now that they're going full speed into the season, I feel like the preseason was pretty short and the training camp wasn't as long as I feel it needed to be. So it's going to be a matter of time if they start working out those kinks, and Drew learns that he can trust these other guys in these big-time moments to make the plays.
Calm down. Relax. Everyone needs to calm down. When I was watching this game, I saw that the Flyers had the puck down in Toronto's end for 60% of the game. And I think they did outshoot Toronto as well. Mm-hmm. So, just relax. But Drew does need to pass the puck. Like, Drew, can you please pass the puck? Like, seriously. And then hopefully, but if the Philadelphia Flyers want to have a good season, Drew has to play at a high level this season. And you still have one of the best second lines in the NHL. So I think that Philadelphia Flyers fans just need to relax. And like we said earlier, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Very quickly, the Flyers announced Steve Mason would be the starting goaltender for them via Instagram. We're not going to get into what you guys think of news being reported on Instagram, but did you agree with the decision, Mason in goal?
I was leaning towards Ray Emery. I'm not going to lie, with the veteran experience he had with the Blackhawks. Of course, everyone knows during the lockout-shortened season, he was the goalie when the Blackhawks had that long winning streak. It was only because of injury that Corey Crawford was put in ahead of him. But Steve Mason didn't do too bad. Was a little nerve-wracking when, and on a shot in the third period, it deflected up off him and almost deflected in behind him, almost a la Ilya Bryzgalov. But nevertheless, I think it'll be more of a tandem between Mason and Emery and not just one definitive number one goalie.
All right, and we'll move on to 76ers talk, but there will be no 76ers talk. The only news that we do have is next week we will have our 76ers preview show with Bob Cooney from the Philadelphia Daily News and Tom Moore of the Bucks County Courier-Times. They were on last year. They're great guys. They know everything about the Sixers. Sixers finishing up training camp right now at St. Joe's University. We're not going to talk about St. Joe's. But next week's going to be very exciting, so they'll know everything you need to know about the Sixers you can get from LaSalle TV, Sports Talk Philadelphia. So we will move on to our Fast Five segment, and we're going to start with Mark. best Ruben Amaro move in his tenure as Phillies GM?
I don't think this will count as a collective, but winning the World Series, putting together a good farm system to win the World Series.
That's it.
It's I don't know. There's more dark moments than there are bright.
All right, Tyler. Now, what is the best Flyers goal song that you've heard? And do you agree with the move to TNT?
I put on Twitter when I was covering the game that I was kind of meh on TNT. I liked when they had the Dupe song that the Union have. I thought the fans loved it. It was great to hear for them to score a goal, especially in the playoffs, and hear all the and sing along with the catchy chorus. So they had Dupe in the preseason too. So I think they should go back to the Dupe song.
All right, Erskine. How many games until Nick Foles gets a start for the Eagles, and why?
Oh gosh, Jesus, man. Let's if Nick Foles, should he start? I'll say about week 14. Week 14. I know there's some people that want Michael Vick they want Chip Kelly to get rid of Michael Vick, but you just have to relax. There's most of the problems the Philadelphia Eagles are having right now is on defense. Offensively, you're one of the best teams in the NFL. From the skill positions, you have Deshaun Jackson, you have LaShawn McCoy, and you have Brett Selleck. So I think that Philadelphia Eagles fans just need to relax. And the last time I checked, the Cowboys are 2-2. Mm-hmm. You're 1-3. And then the Redskins are 1-3. And then the Giants, they're 0-4. I think 6-10 is going to win this division. Personally, I think it is. So I just think that Philadelphia Eagle fans just need to relax about that.
All right, rapid fire here on the Fast Five. What's worse, Mark, the Eagles secondary or Phillies pitching?
Oh, God.
Well, Phillies pitching. At least Eagles secondary is healthy.
All right, fair enough. And Tyler, this week, which will be more, Eli Manning touchdowns and interceptions combined, or Michael Vick's?
I think Eli Manning's, because if the Eagles' front seven could get pressure on Eli Manning, he's going to throw picks aplenty, and the defense will finally get some turnovers. So I think Eli Manning will have more.
And that's all we got for you today. If you need to contact us in any way, lasalle.edu/LaSalleTV is our website. And you can email us at lasalletv@lasalle.edu. We're also on social media. You can follow me at AndrewJAlbert01 on Twitter. We have Sports Talk Phila. That's Dave Grzbowski. You can still follow him. Facebook, Sports Talk Philadelphia. Just search it on the top. And keyword search on YouTube, Sports Talk Philadelphia. For my great panel here, Tyler, Mark, and Erskine, that's all we have for you this week. We will see you next week for the Sixers preview show.